Hello, 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 and welcome to the Drag Race Recap here on Reality TV Wrap Ups. I'm your host, Liana Boris, and today we're going to talk about episode 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race, of course, season 16. Now, I am not alone, and thankfully, I am not, because we have a wild episode to talk about with a pretty shocking elimination, I think, to a lot of us. Another design challenge, goth galore here today. So, first, let me welcome in Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you?
I am great. I'm super excited. This episode definitely has a lot to get into, lots of back and forth. I'm sure, or I'm hoping that we'll have on this podcast. So I'm excited. And I'm here and I'm queer, as always.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. And we will get through everything. And it is a family affair here today. We have two guests who I am so excited about. First, you know him from Survivor. It is the one and only Zach You Better Wurtenberger. Zach, how are you?
Thank you so much, Liana. I am so excited to be here. I did not expect the invitation. I especially didn't expect it because I never actually even received it. I was actually more of a tag along to the person who was really invited as a guest here,
Yeah.
which is, of course, my drag mother, Stephanie.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually 100% accurate. We never officially asked Zach. We instead extended the invite to the wonderful Steph Wirt. Yes, Mama Wurtenberger is here. Stephanie, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I felt like I needed to include Zach because he's the one who actually got me into Drag Race a long time ago.
Yeah, so we'll let Zach tag along. It's fine. Three's company, four's a crowd, but it's all right. We're so happy to have both of you. So, all right, so if Zach got you into Drag Race, then Zach, what's your origin story?
Well, me and my mom are pandemic fans, I would say, of the show in the same way that a lot of people discovered Survivor. We'd already done that. And I remember my mom specifically being like, oh, I need a new reality show to watch. And I was like, oh, you know what a show I think you would really enjoy? Not me, but you would really enjoy RuPaul's Drag Race because I heard it was super dramatic. It was super fun. I was like, it's not my thing, but you would really enjoy it. So she starts watching it. She loves it. And then I think it was somewhere around like season 5. She was like binging the whole thing through. I sat down and watched an episode with her. And I was like, this is so ridiculous. This is so this is the craziest show I've ever seen. This is so silly. And then I ended up, I think, watching like 10 or 11 episodes straight with her. And then if I remember correctly, she watched the finale without me. And I was like, I was clearly into it. So we, from that point on, like in the pandemic, just binged the entire thing together and still watch it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I think that's also really funny that you recommended the show. Steph started watching it, and then you ended up hopping on board. Like it came full circle at the end. So then, Steph, did you start with season 1, or did you
which
sort
season?
of cherry pick seasons? Yeah. How was your journey through the episode?
I think we started with season 4, and then I watched every single season and all the All-Stars and Canada and the UK. I've watched pretty much everything that's in English, every season that I can understand.
You have officially watched more Drag Race than I have. I am still lagging behind on Canada and the UK.
No, I'm the casual fan here. She watches it all.
That's
good. Our very own. Our super fan. Yes, our Drag Race super fan. Okay, so then what are some of your standout queens or seasons or moments? What have you like really connected with when it comes to Drag Race?
Well, I love Alaska. I love some of the ones, Raja, like from back in the day. The newer ones, from this season, I mean, Dawn is my ultimate favorite. Love her so much. There are so many.
I know.
Too many. Well, you did just mention like 5 seasons that you watched within the last 2 months.
I know. Well, it's hard for me to remember everyone's names too, because you binge them and watch them so much. But I love Jimbo, ultimate
Mhm.
Jimbo fan.
Mhm.
Who else?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
What
would
about
say
you,
that
Zach?
I would say for me, it's more so like I watch for like the moments. I love when something happens. When I think of the show, I think of like the moments that are just like jaw dropping. Like,
Mhm.
Valentina, like, can you take the mask off?
That was the best.
Like, and also like the good moments, and also like Asia's butterfly thing.
Woo!
Like, what
Oh
other
my
show
God.
could have something like that happen? I've retold that story to people who like are so far removed. I would be like, you will not believe what happened in this one
Live.
episode. That's what I love about it. Is like it sets up for things that no other reality show could even get close to.
I'm sure to this day she is still thinking about that every day. Like,
Mhm.
Yes.
uh,
As she
And I
should.
enjoy the pit crew.
yeah,
Stop.
yes,
Yes.
the pit crew is. I'm certainly there for the pit crew.
Yeah, I'm shocked by Asaf being on the challenge, and the pit crew. I think is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Wait, I missed
know.
that.
The
What?
crossover no one expected.
Oh my God, you don't know that, Aman?
Wow. No, I missed that.
Asaf has been on like 12 reality shows. And then when I saw him on RuPaul's Drag Race, I was like, oh my God, that's Asaf. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know him.
I
Has he
do
been
know him.
successful on one of them?
Oh.
This season of the challenge, he's done pretty well.
Oh my God, I didn't watch it, unfortunately.
Well, you should, because it's really good.
Yeah, see, you got to take recommendations from your mom now, Zach. She
I
knows
watch-
what she's talking about.
We are a family of reality TV lovers. I mean, especially
Mhm.
me, but I started way back when in the real world. And then I
Mhm.
have been watching pretty much everything from 90 Day Fiance to Married at First Sight. Like everything, I just love it. The only thing I do not watch is the Real Housewives. I do not. I just have never gotten into that. Or like the
Me neither.
Kardashians. I
Me
don't do that.
neither.
Mhm.
Those are the two.
Mhm.
Those are the two
Yeah.
big ones that I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just started
Yeah.
Below Deck because Corey recommended it. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm so excited that we have the two of you, as I've mentioned a million times, I'm sure, because we have a very interesting episode to talk about that I think has had a lot of discourse online, or at least from what I've seen so far. So I'm very curious to get the two of you's opinions. So, Zach, how are you liking this season so far? And then what did you think about this particular episode? Were you shocked by the boot? Did you feel like, yeah, this made sense?
I think that overall for the season, I've been really enjoying it. I will say that personally, I have experienced drag race fatigue after Canada. I did watch Canada 4 and after All Stars 8 and then after 15, which I liked, but it was like, oh wow, who's going to get second place to Sasha? Like I was very, I felt like it was a little bit going through the motions. What I really like about this season is that it does feel so open. I really feel like I don't know who's going to take it this time. There's been a lot of conflict, which I've been really enjoying. As for this episode, I really enjoyed it because it had all of those things. It was pretty open. It was a surprising ending, and it had a lot of conflict. So I was really enjoying this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have had a lot of conflict from Plain. There's been a lot of talk about Dawn, like the real villain of the season, and her sort of stepping out into the evilness, turning her own new leaf. So I think that has been really fun as well. Steph, what about you?
I have loved the season. I I think that I don't really see the villain in Dawn. I think it's because I love her so much. I just think she's awesome. Plain Jane is awesome. I didn't love her this episode, her look, but I loved her attitude. I think she's so funny with the whole the poison, that she has to drink. Like I think she's great. I was very surprised at the outcome tonight. I really just can't believe. I mean, I thought Maya was amazing, but I can't believe that she is staying. I just think that she's eventually going to go. So I don't know. I was surprised.
I definitely disagree, I will say. And we can save that for the end, but I think that they absolutely made the right call there.
I mean,
Yes.
if it comes down to the lip sync, okay, but what about like the rest of the season? Like,
The rest of the season, I mean, I feel like we've seen Plasma for 9 episodes. I feel like we've seen exactly what she was going to bring, and she was really good at the stuff she was really good at. But I didn't think it was like, I see people are like outraged about it. I feel like
Did
Maya.
You see the musical? Did you see the musical? She was amazing. She was incredible.
Yes, but obviously she was. Like, you look at her and you're like, whoa, you won't believe it. Plasma was really good in the Rusical. There's not another Rusical. Rusical's over. They got what they wanted out of Plasma. And Maya, meanwhile, crushed her in the lip sync. Even though she didn't actually make her outfit, it was still much better than what Plasma was bringing. So I think just in pure, like, this episode, she crushed her.
But how many times can we allow her to be in the bottom?
At Cameron Michaels.
I don't know.
Ooh, I'm so glad you said that bitch's name, because look, I have been in a war about Cameron Michaels for, it seems like, 10,000 years. Okay, all of my roommates all of my friends that watch this show, they're always like, "No, Amon, like, no, you're wrong. She's great. Her looks were amazing. Yada 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 yada." And I'm like, but she was in the bottom so many times. Send her home. Like, what are we doing this for? Just to keep her around for the lip sync? And then all of a sudden, those very same people that were telling me that are now changing their tune for Plasma. And I'm like, oh, but Maya beat her in the lip sync, right? So let's keep her. So it's just, I feel so vindicated like right now, because
you know what? I just feel like there's so many that season that Cameron Michaels was on. There was so many acting challenges, and she was not as good at that. But here, there's so many fashion challenges, which I love. But I don't know. I just felt like it didn't seem fair that she totally got her look made by someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. This is amazing. I'm loving this already. I think that is sort of what it comes to. So I didn't watch the episode live. I got spoiled on Who Went Home. And then when I was watching the episode, I was like ready to be outraged, because that was the narrative that was happening. And I do think that if you look overall at what Plasma has done throughout the season, I'm more impressed with her resume thus far. Yeah. But in this episode, like, her look was so bad. I really hated it. And we'll get into the look. The pants were amazing, but it wasn't cohesive. I didn't like it.
Yeah, and the tank top.
Yeah, the top. Yeah, exactly. The like houndstooth. Yeah, the houndstooth bodysuit, like, just didn't matter. Yeah, nothing was cohesive, I felt like. And for Maya, not that, I don't know, like, what's Saphira's end game here? Like, is Sapphira trying to keep Maya in the game? Yes. So then I was thinking strategy from a strategy perspective. And if you're Maya, why would you say no to the help? You need help, and you can, I thought her look overall was better, even though she did accept help. So then it's like, okay, now are you judging based on how much help? Is it track record of the whole season? And I think that there's so many different criteria that you can go off of that you can justify the decision either way. It just depends on exactly what data you want to use in order to justify that choice. So for me, I think personally, I do think she deserved to go home. And I think that but the thing is that I think I'm bored with Maya anyway. So like, I almost would have rathered her go home, but based on what we know of the judging and the criteria, I do think that Plasma leaving was the right choice. But we'll get into all of those details. Maybe I'll change my mind by the end of this because that's usually has a tendency to happen.
I'll work on
So I want to just Yes, exactly. Okay. I'm ready for the point counterpoint. The debate is ready. Got those trophies. We're ready to go.
Yeah. Let me shout out here, by the way, the fact that I said this beforehand, but the fact that my mom managed to pick. She arranged that background, just so you know. She put my bar mitzvah signboard in the back.
Thank you
for showing me. Got my karate belts. The black belt is hanging, obviously.
Corey has the same ones.
And then my debate trophies off to the side. It's wonderful.
Now you just need that trophy. Now you need to start doing drag. We need to see that RuPaul trophy in there too.
Yeah, House of Wurtenberger.
Yes,
really. Taking home the gold.
Do you see Joey, Zach?
Do you see
Joey?
Yeah. That's our dog.
Is that the dog?
Yeah.
Very cute. Yeah. Sleeping, enjoying the podcast. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. I think let's start with the Maxi Challenge. Let's talk through all the looks. Let's get our thoughts out on that. And then of course we'll circle around to the mini challenge, the drama, Untucked, all of that as well. So for the Maxi Challenge this week, we have another design challenge. The queens were tasked with designing a look from scratch, a neo-goth look. So they're looking for something goth, but also high fashion was how Rue described the brief, which Maya, of course, is very excited for. Another design challenge. And they have to use only black, white, and gray. So those were the colors that were provided. Of course, their own undergarments, shoes, wigs, all of that jazz. So what overall, Aman, did you think of having another design challenge and a goth one at that?
I mean, I like design challenges. I really do. I understand that not everyone is a sewer or seamstress, and that's kind of like where they're going to trim the fat whenever they want to get rid of somebody. But I still like it because even when the queens that aren't seamstresses have to do it, it still gives me a bit of a you. You know what I mean? Like they're always talking so much about like this show about like how, oh, we don't see enough of you, we don't see your personality. Da, 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 da. I feel like in sewing challenges, like when you're forced to like put your brain to the task of creating something, I get like a piece of like where you're coming from. So I enjoy design challenges. Are there quite a few? Probably. Did it have something to do with the actors writer strike? Maybe. I don't know. So it might be a little bit heavy-handed, but like I'm not mad about it. Is my final take.
Yeah, I think that's important to keep in mind because I keep wondering, I'm like, where are the acting challenges? Where are the acting challenges? And I think that because no writers, no script, obviously you can't do an acting challenge. So I think that's probably why. And then next week we're going to have another girl group, like sort of performance challenge. So that's probably why we're settling more in here. I mean, I was happy that at least they decided to do something different. And it's something that we haven't seen before on the show. So I was, all right, sure, let's do it. Let's sew some more. We're going to go through all of the looks. Let's start with Plain Jane.
Wait, before we do that, can I say something about the acting challenges real quick?
Of course, yeah.
I just want to say that the SNL episode they did recently was legitimately the least funny thing that I have ever seen in my entire life.
So SNL.
it was like watching SNL without writers. Like I truly believed like this is why the writers needed to go on strike. Like because not everyone can do this. It felt very like ChatGPT. And
not that.
My thought is that if that is what we are going to be getting with the acting challenges, where literally nobody walks away looking good because the scripts are so horrendous and so embarrassing, then I will take 1,000 sewing challenges over one more RuPaul Night Live episode.
I'm absolutely standing the idea that the actors went or the writers went on strike because are you not paying us enough? Yes, but are there awesome people we need to get out of here? Like, yes, get them out.
I didn't realize that was why, but now it makes sense. But I really do prefer girl groups and musicals and design challenges so much better. Yes. So for me, it's been great this season.
I mean, imagine breaking your strike to write a RuPaul's Drag Race acting challenge. Like that's the reason you're taken out of the union is because you needed to write Girlfriends 3.
Yeah, exactly. Not the thing to cross picket lines for. Oh yeah, the Daytona Wind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, look, it's funny because the acting challenges have never been like that good, really.
Never.
We've had some just really iconically bad ones, but none of them are like, oh yeah, that was amazing. So if we get some good looks, I'll take that instead.
Yeah.
Steph, I want to start with you here for Plain Jane. So we're going to talk about Plain Jane first. And she does sort of this like, it's a bodice with the chains. And that was what we got a lot of the workroom drama about her sort of debating about what to do with the chains. Oh my gosh, it's going to take too much time. What am I going to do? Should I pivot? That was sort of her overall metric. And she does end up safe, but got sort of negative critiques, I feel like, for the first time from the judges.
Yes. Well, I don't love the hair at all. That was the first thing that I just didn't love. The outfit I thought was great. It did look kind of simple though because of the thigh-high boots. It looks like a bodysuit with boots that she like glued some stuff on, which obviously she didn't. It's amazing technique, but it doesn't come across that way, I don't think. I think it looks very basic, and also the fact that she's up against such strong competition, it makes it look even lesser, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It does feel a little bit more minimalist. Maybe not the most minimalist out of all of the looks that we see, obviously, but it did feel a little like, what's the next step? And I've often felt that way about Plains drag this entire season. I don't know if it's because I'm like secretly like hating on her because she's such a villain. So maybe I'm just like being a little bit more critical, but I feel like there's always like something that's just like missing. What I will say is that I do enjoy the chain links that she has on the dress and the intricacy of which she designed that. That seemed very great to me, but everything else was like, yeah, towards the bottom is fine.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of her, I forget what the category was, but the gas mask one that she had.
Mm-hmm.
Like just in
Yeah.
structure and color. So like I feel like I've seen her in this before. Again, the fact that she made it is really incredible. Like I think that it is fair I think that she got exactly the critiques she deserved for this, which is it's a great outfit. It looks good. It's well made. Definitely doesn't deserve bottom or anything, but also doesn't deserve to be in that like, top level that we were seeing this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, I co-sign that as well. I think she was the only one to really use the chains, which I don't know why when I think goth, I think of chains. like I don't know. That's like something that for some reason pops in my mind. And so I feel that I'm happy she incorporated those elements. At the same time, it also doesn't like overtly give me goth per se. I mean, it's like on its way there, but it just feels like we haven't 100% fully committed to doing that. And probably that may have been because of the time. Like I'm curious to know what she had planned originally because it seems like she did have to pivot and do some of the detailing a little bit differently. I would say this is not her best work that we've seen, but I mean at this stage in the competition, it's serviceable, it's safe, and the fact that she made this is still so impressive to me because I can't. I'm not that person.
I like her little
Yes.
teardrop. I
No,
think
it
that
was-
was a
I did too.
yeah, it's a memorable
Mhm.
part of this that she just
Yeah.
added at the last second.
Yeah, I think that, and then her contacts also. I think they make the face look very cool, very dark. Let's move on to Maya. All right. So we've already started to get into some of the drama of this. The fact that what percentage she made of this herself. I will say, I think that the dress is stunning, Aman. I agree with the fact that it's closed up at the neck. I do think that that is one of the negatives, but the inclusion of the spiders, the raven, I thought this was actually really stunning.
I did too. And it's sad that a look this good has to be shrouded in such controversy. But I thought it was a silhouette that we have not seen on Maya before. The spider net fish net thing of it all going down the back was just like the piece that was like, oh, so that just took this dress to the next level. So I really enjoyed it. I thought the inclusion of the ravens was just the right touch. I just felt like it was great. The only thing that I would change about it was maybe the mermaid tail is a bit further down, but other than that, I love this look.
I thought this dress was super sexy. I loved it from the second she walked out. I love the black, like rubber looking dresses. I thought it looked great. And the back was such a surprise. I didn't really know to expect it. And I love the birds. I love the ravens. I thought it was excellent. And then when they started talking about the neck, I was like, okay, I guess, because she's like maybe shorter and stockier. So, but I thought she looked great. But then there was the whole controversy of, well, you didn't make it. So
Yeah.
I think that that's the RuPaul's Drag Race social game. And I don't actually know what the problem is. If you have a competitor who you're so close to that they're willing to help you with it and like, you know, you make friends that have strengths that complement yours, right? I didn't have a problem with Saphira taking time out of hers to help with it. I did find it funny when Saphira was like, yeah, the dress that Maya's planning to make, I could probably knock that out in 2 hours.
Right.
I thought,
Well, but I
yeah.
knew that you instantly knew Michelle was going to come after her.
Yeah. And I think that is where, like, I don't mind it as like a viewer. It doesn't bother me. I don't think that that's like cheating or anything. At the same time, when everybody else does very well in this challenge, that is a real like differentiator. Where I would have been really upset if they had put like Plasma over Maya, because I think Plasma's outfit was just like so much worse. But when it's Maya's versus, let's say, what was her? Morphine?
Like Morphine's. Yeah.
Yeah, Morphine. Like Morphine, who I think was a similar quality, but Morphine actually made it herself. That's where I'm like, okay, you can take points off for Maya.
Yeah, so I thought a lot about Mike Bloom's tweet that went viral a few weeks back about the potion and using it offensively. Maybe you think someone's going to win ahead of you, so you use the potion on them, they go, and then you win instead. I was like, well, who's to say you also can't use your skills in the workroom also offensively? Like, if she literally said in the DR, I want Maya to stay here, so I'm going to help her. And then who goes home?
Yes.
A bitch that won 2 damn challenges. So I'm like,
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, there's nothing in the rules, at least as far as we know. We don't get the drag rule handbook, but as far as we know, there's nothing in the rules that says you cannot help somebody else out. So, like, is it lovely that Plasma went after doing so well 2 weeks? No, but like, is that the name of the game now for Drag Race? Maybe.
And I mean, we've seen this with we saw this with like Bianca and Adore, and like that was like a beloved thing because it's like, oh, look at how she's helping like poor Adore out. So it's like this is a common thing that's happened time and time again. I don't know what it was about this one other than the fact that I think that this entire group is like just generally almost like a mean group, and I say that in like a positive way because I've been enjoying how like rude they can be to each other. But I think it was less that having someone help you with your dress is a problem, and more so the people that were there to observe that really like took it to heart.
I just love that it was Saphira though, because Saphira is like the queen mother of the season right now, right? Like everyone loves her, everyone looks up to her. She's so supportive. So it's hard for the rest of the queens to like outwardly be venomous towards her. If it were anybody else, we would see like a cat fight. But the fact that it's Saphira and none of them are like willing enough to be like, Saphira, bitch, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
They kind of like, I don't like that she's doing it, but okay. Like, so I love that.
Yeah.
I think also the design challenges are fiercely competitive because the queens there's so many of them that are good at construction. It's not like they're all struggling. Can we all help each other? Because we actually saw this with the girl group challenge where, you know, we've had people like Megami wrote lyrics for Nymphia. Like you see people helping each other. And obviously it's a girl group, so they might be judged as a group. So you want the whole group to come off looking good. But I think there was more of a sense of camaraderie for that challenge. Not that I disagree, Zach, at all. Like they are a mean group that like are not helping each other. Like no one is helping. People are offering constructive criticism, but even then it's just sort of like a, okay, like if that's what you want to do, sort of side eye type of comment. Because I mean, Q, Nymphia, Saphira, Dawn, Plain Jane, that's 5 amazing, yeah, exactly, like amazing seamstresses who can all create something. And then there's sort of like the odd men out. It felt like more with Maya, maybe a little bit with Plasma. And so then for her to get help, that just makes it maybe a little bit more awkward. But anyway, yeah, it's very interesting. All right, let's move on and talk about Dawn. So Dawn seems like got a lot of really positive critiques. Zach, what did you think about her look?
I think that her look, I mean, I really enjoy it. I like the structural part. She said it was what, fish wire?
Fishing line. Yeah.
I think yet again, Dawn has a great look that just unfortunately was overshadowed by one of the other people that was there. And I think that the judges made the correct decision this time. And, you know, I think that's been Dawn's kind of struggle this whole season, right? Is that all the stuff she's good at, Q or Nymphia basically has just been like slightly better each week, and that's why she hasn't been able to get a win. I would, if this is we can talk about the outfit, but then I also want to get into the whole Dawn plasma of it all, because I have a lot of thoughts on that in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I love this look. I practically don't have any notes. I agree with Zach in that, like, she just happens to be on the season that they decided to cast multiple talented ass seamstresses. And I kind of love that. I love if that's like the storyline, or what we remember the most from season 16 is the 16 seamstresses, I guess. So I'm kind of like loving like this battle of wits when it comes to fabrics and textures between her, Q, and Nymphia and Saphira. So it's been a wild ride. The only thing that I would change about the dress is maybe like the leveling of the, I don't even know what you would call the hovering discs of fabric, but like the back end seems to be a little bit off center. So that's the only critique
On
that I have.
the hoop skirt, like on the hoop skirt, you're saying?
On the hoop skirt. Yeah. Thank you for that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I think the look is 10 out of 10. So great.
Mm-hmm.
This look is fantastic.
Steph, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, the headpiece. I just love the headpiece. I think it's fantastic. It just looks so good, and I like that her waist is so cinched. Did you watch with the what's the show
Whoever that
after
person was.
the show
Untucked.
Untucked when Kaya Gerber asks her about it? It was just she's so fun. Like
She was like, "Girl, how you do that?"
Yeah, exactly. She looks fantastic, and I agree that I was like, oh my god, she's gonna win. And then the next couple, I was like, oh, all right.
I know. Well, especially leaving Nymphia and Q as the last two. I was like, that's so shady. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think this is absolutely stunning. I think one issue with black in general is that it can be tough to see the detailing, right? And so that's just one thing. And but that applies to all of them. Like I will have probably the same critique for Nymphia, because even though I absolutely loved her look, it's just sometimes it's really hard to see the detail. No fault of the queens. Just when you're working with black, obviously that's part of the issue. But I think the silhouette is something so unique. It's so cool. I love the fact that this is what she thought of. So I'm very happy for her.
And the fact that it was made like there, like while they were there, is like just crazy. I can't take it.
So impressive. It's so impressive. Now, Zach, you wanted to get into the Plasma Dawn drama. Where do you come down on this? I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I am 100% on Dawn's side in this, because I think that when Dawn said you should do something different, something more like modern, something that'll like show a different side of you, there was also just the natural implication that it also should be good.
Right.
Like Dawn, Dawn meant that. Like Dawn was saying all those stuff, and like also make sure it looks good. So she took all the other pieces of advice, but forgot to make it like appealing. And that's where she went wrong. It wasn't the advice, which I think Dawn was 100% correct. I think that even though she hasn't specifically gotten that critique, if she had made the same outfit 3 times in a row, she would have been in the bottom for, hey, like, we've seen this already, especially this week. It would have been like, you're not showing like diversity. You're not showing that you can do all these different things. We've seen this side of Plasma before. That's been my biggest issue with Plasma throughout the season overall. And so I thought it was a very fair critique that Plasma rightly took, but then just still made a bad outfit.
I agree with you completely.
I feel like you know, Dawn went into this conversation with the best of intentions. I don't think that it was to be trying to like play the mind game thing. However, that is the impact that it had. So it's just like, who do you blame that on? Do you blame it on Dawn? Do you blame it on
Plasma?
Plasma. And ultimately, I agree with Plasma in that, like, when in Untucked, when she was like, you know, it's not your fault, it's mine, because I let you guys do this to me. And so, I mean, hey, what are you gonna do, you know? But I do think that if Dawn had not given her that critique or that piece of advice, I do not think that Plasma goes home. That's just like my
Right.
general feeling about it. I think that she does something that she's more familiar with. Is it like muted a bit? Probably. Is it bottom worthy? Probably not. So I'm like, yeah, she really let the competition get to her this time.
How about Rue throwing out the sabotage word? I was like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was ready for that.
Yeah, I don't think it was sabotage, and I don't think Plasma thought it was sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say for
Right.
the Dawn villain edit, as much as I land on her side with this one, in the SNL episode, that one I'm on Plasma's side. Where she was like, actually, I want to do this with my friends. And we kind of already decided we're gonna do this one together. So why don't you take this other role? And then sure enough, that's the one where Plasma wins, right? So it turns out great for her, and she was correct in the end. I just thought the framing of that, of like, we've got our own little thing. That was very villainous for me, and I appreciated it because it was funny.
I actually love that framing of the two different times that sort of Dawn has not forced, but like put Plasma in a particular situation, and then has worked out almost completely opposite for Plasma. I mean, I agree that I don't think it ever came across to me as malicious. Like, it came across as genuine advice that Dawn was trying to give. So it just so happens that then Plasma ends up spiraling. Saphira has to come in, comfort Plasma. Obviously, Plane and Plasma, like, none of them are happy about the fact that Maya's getting help. So then there's sort of also this other tension like on top of it. So if you're already second guessing yourself, you see another queen who would be in the bottom maybe before you get help, that's also going to help you spiral. So I think it was almost like a perfect storm of a number of different situations that made made Plasma just sort of get in her own head, and then that clearly impacted the garment. But first, Steph, do you have anything else you would say?
No, I was just thinking like how it forced Nymphia out of her. She had to change from her yellow to the black. This didn't have to be a change for what was her name?
Plasma.
Yeah, it didn't have to.
Not as off forgetting her name.
I know. But she didn't have to change. But I feel like she needed it. She's been doing the same thing week after week. It was time. She just didn't do the best job at it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. Actually, you know what? Okay, we'll go back to Morphine. I want to just skip ahead and let's talk about Plasma's look because, okay, I like the pants. Pants are very challenging to make. I'm always very impressed when a queen makes pants. Love the pants.
Like Hershey.
Yes, exactly. Just like Hershey. I hate everything else about this. Everything else about this. I hate the bodysuit with the houndstooth. I don't even understand what's going on with all of the scraps. It just, the necklace doesn't match. Like, nothing to me. The only thing I like about this is the pants, and that's about it.
She looks like Amethyst here.
A little bit, yeah.
It does.
It's just not. It's not cohesive. That's just what it comes down to. There's you're like Cher at a Halloween black and white. I don't know what's going on. It's just not happening. And the white belt just like cuts it off in the middle. And I'm just, I don't know what's going on. And the shoes, I love the shoes, but like, why are they silver and everything else is? I'm having a hard time here.
Yeah. Now my question is, and it's clearly the worst of the week. Like, it's not even a question for me that like this was the bottom, this was the worst, and she very rightfully deserved to be in the bottom for it, I would say. What is it that distinguishes her deserving to be in the bottom and getting put in the bottom versus Nymphia deserving to be in the bottom for Snatch Game, but like getting saved and then putting two other people? Like, what? Because if it was like a consistent thing, like, even no matter what your track record is, if you're the worst, you get put in the bottom. Like, I don't think anyone would have an issue with it. But obviously the show is very inconsistent. Nymphia definitely was bottom worthy for Snatch Game. And I was actually expecting Plasma to be saved here based on that precedent.
Me too.
So I was curious what you guys
needed
think.
Nymphia to be here for this episode.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down
I
to.
do think there's a little bit of production. I think that Nymphia is a production favorite, as she should be, because she's been amazing.
Mhm.
And she doesn't have that protection. But that's what I'm interested. Where is it that Plasma went wrong? Where could she not get the protection from production? What did she need to do to have a week like this and have them be like, but we still need to save her?
Win the lip sync.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think that if there was a shot at her staying, and I know I'm kind of skipping ahead to the lip sync, I do think that there is like an inkling from production to be like, we're gonna give them this song because we feel like there is a chance that Maya will not be able to do the ducking and diving and flipping and tricking. But then Maya anticipated that, didn't do the ducking and diving and flipping and tripping, but still murdered her ass in the damn lip sync. So I think that there is a way in which Plasma can stay. I just think that Maya was a bit too, quite frankly, just a bit too talented for that lip sync, and that just sent her ass home. So that's, I don't know.
I think that overall production did not expect Plasma to do as well as she did. Like when they cast her, I do not think that they thought that this is a queen that's going to get 2 wins. I thought that she was going to be, you know, the Jan, the like perpetually never winning, weaponizing her BFA kind of situation. And I think that Plasma just did so well in those 2 challenges where she won that they couldn't help, they had to give her the win. Like that was just what made the most sense. I think that for me, Zach, the key question is whether or not is production willing to put them in the bottom 2. That's like the decision, I think, that was from the moment that she was set in the bottom 2, it was like they're willing to lose her. Whereas for Nymphia, production, I think just a production fave. I mean, I still think she's been outstanding in the competition. Yeah. I'm not like questioning her purpose there, but I agree in that one particular snatch game, she did absolutely so terrible that it's like, how do you not end up in the bottom 2? And I think production was not willing to let her go. And I think that the other thing that factored into that is that there were almost 2, there's the main challenge and then there's also the runway. Whereas here it's all lumped into one. So you could say, oh, Nymphia she was justified by not putting in the bottom because she did so well in the runway. Whereas this, that's it. Like it's just the look. There's nothing else that you can say. And so there's almost like, I mean, how does she not end up in the bottom?
Yes, of course. You can't not put her in the bottom with this look. There was no explanation that you could make.
Right.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I think that for me with Plasma, what I wasn't a fan of through the season, but was a big one this season, is it always felt like she was this character, like she was putting up this kind of act of this, like, who Plasma is, like the old-timey whatever. And it was hard for me to connect with her because I didn't really feel like she was a real person. And then this episode was by far my favorite Plasma that we've seen throughout the season. And I was really rooting for her throughout it because we saw her insecurity. We saw her like really like freaking out and like feeling like this is something I'm not good at. And like, I feel like my time might be coming. And I really was rooting for her because of that.
Yeah.
And I think if there was more of that throughout the season, maybe production would have looked a little bit more favorably on her.
In that diary room where she's like, you know, essentially talking back to Plain Jane, like, get the hell out of my station. I was like, oh, hi, Plasma. Like, so yeah, I agree. I really, as much as that outfit was horrible, I equally enjoyed her presence in this episode this time around. So
yeah, well, I think Steph, like when you are in the underdog position, I mean, you've watched, you know, so many reality TV shows, you can't help but root for the underdog. And I feel like that's where Plasma was in this episode.
Yes, I in the beginning of the season didn't love Plasma, but as the episodes have been going on, I have found myself rooting for her, and I really kind of like fell in love with her, and was so disappointed that she went home tonight, like this week. I really was sad. I thought she was, I guess, kind of an underdog rising, and then it's over.
8th place is kind of the spot for this person, right? Like this is where we lost Jan, if I remember correctly. This is where we lost Denali.
And what is with the Jan robe? They show the Jan robe. I've seen it at least 3 times that she brought the Jan robe with her. Why? Are they friends?
It's a BFA in marketing.
Yeah.
What's BFA?
Do what you need to do.
Bachelor of Fine Arts.
of Fine Arts. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think, I mean, they're both New York queens.
Yeah.
And I think that Plasma is definitely in that sort of Jan archetype. We know that the show
Yes.
likes to stick to those sort of archetypes. So I think that that's probably part of the reason. But it is always so funny to see those like those little things in the show.
The lore of
Those
it all.
callbacks. Yeah, the lore, exactly. Okay. Let's hop back. Let's talk about Morphine. So Morphine, I think, was the other queen who, based on the way that they did the judging and telling queens you're safe, that she was also in the bottom three, because all the queens received critiques this week. And I think that, she talks about wanting to stand out. I don't know, Aman, if she necessarily stood out, but I think this was a serviceable job. Again, the fact that she made this, I think, is gorgeous. But it's when you look at some of the other looks that are standing next to her on stage, you can see why this maybe pales in comparison.
I think the dress is absolutely gorgeous. The craftsmanship of it is absolutely gorgeous. But again, so many people had such absolutely gorgeous looks. So it was just like, oh, when you're nitpicking, it's gonna fall to the wayside. I do think if I am nitpicking, I think that there is like a little bit of too hard of a contrast between some of the textures, between the tail and then the silk. It didn't mesh the way that I would have loved it to for a mermaid dress. But other than that, I thought she did a really, really good job.
Mm-hmm.
I think her face and her makeup is beautiful. I love the white powdery look.
Yeah, I think this is Morphine's probably been the biggest surprise for me this season. I wasn't expecting to love her as much as I have, so I was definitely she's definitely one of my favorites at this point. And I thought this look was great. I really liked it. It was simple, obviously, but it just looks good, especially for someone who is not a seamstress like all these other ones.
Yeah,
I think she definitely held her own. I think there are many other seasons where this is a high look. Just in a season where a lot of the seamstresses have gone, maybe it's more comedy focused. Like this really, I think looks that are worse than this have won design challenges.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate for her that she's on this season with this caliber, but I'm very glad she wasn't in the bottom for it, because I don't think that this look deserved the bottom. And I really liked also the white, like all the white makeup. I think it really complemented like the dark black there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if she didn't receive some help and that was scrubbed from the edit, because for her also not to be a seamstress to pull this out, I was like, didn't expect that from you.
I think, I mean, her beat is always flawless. Like her mug in and out of drag is always just so stunning. I think here is absolutely no exception. The one thing that I also want to point out is the fact that with the white base, she took that all the way down. And thank God, because the breaking the illusion, if you don't cover your neck, if you don't cover your arms, that always, we've seen queens do that in the past where they just don't take that color all the way down and it looks really bad. Here, it looks flawless and seamless. So I'm really happy that she did that. And that's like one of those little details that I'm happy she saw and did that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about our last three queens, starting with Sapphira. So Sapphira, Steph, had this like very clear character as well that she was sort of going with the I'm over it sort of looks, which got a lot of laughs from the judges.
Yes, this look and this performance made me fall in love with her. I love her so much. Starting with last episode with the Snatch Game, I thought she was great. And now this week, I didn't love her in the beginning. And she's one that I have been loving more and more, that she's up to like my second favorite now. Like I just really love her. And her personality, the fact that she's so kind and so nice to everyone is really making me, I was listening, I think, to last week's episode, maybe, of you guys, where I found out she's only like 34, like, or 33, even though she seems like the mother of the group. She's just so kind. I just love her. And I think this dress is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the dress. And I think that like Sapphira and RuPaul just seem to be like sort of like kindred spirits, because I feel like Sapphira always like kind of gets what Ru is going to enjoy. So this whole character of break time at the Haunted Mansion is just like, of course Ru's going to laugh at that bullshit. So I thought that the dress, the craftsmanship was spectacular. The like the spider webbed mirror of it all, like that mesh towards in the slit, just fantastic. I think like, oh my God, for someone to be from Philly, I'm just like, yes, thank you.
Mm.
Finally,
Yes.
first of all, and thank God they're good.
Aman, I'm actually disappointed that you didn't invite her onto the show. Like you met her, you talked to her, and didn't invite her. What were you
I
thinking?
was so I didn't think of it. I was just so shocked that I was talking to her. I just never even thought oh my God, it was crazy. She's actually here right now, like performing like a couple blocks away from me, actually.
Oh my
As
God.
a brunch. Yes.
Run,
Her
go.
and Nymphia are here.
Yeah.
Oh,
What are you
wow.
doing here?
Yeah.
Recording.
We need you like a field correspondent out there.
Right.
I was like,
gathering all the info.
I got 2 seats for it. I walked over to the restaurant to see if I could get in, and they were like, "We can squeeze you in if you really, really want." And I was like, "No, I have to podcast." But yeah.
By the way,
I couldn't miss the Wharton burgers. Come on now.
I love that Drag Race. I love that Drag Race lets them do that. By the way, like actually interact with each other, and you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
whether it's
Make
friendly
money.
or fighting, like Plain Jane and Amanda. Like I love that stuff. I wish that
Mhm.
Survivor and Big Brother obviously is different. I wish Survivor would do the
Mhm.
same thing. I think that
Mhm.
you should be allowed. I think Q and Jelinski should be allowed to yell at each other. The other Q. On Twitter. I think that should be fully allowed. But anyways, with Sapphira, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I think the outfit looks great. The character, and I wonder how much of it like she was planning on going all in with before the judges like really started like playing with her.
Mhm.
Because it felt like the moment that the judges started like, you know, having a shtick, she like picked up on it and instantly made
Yep.
that the whole personality of the look. And it fits so great. I am genuinely curious if she spent 2 hours working on Maya's outfit. I am just curious what the extra 2 hours could have done, like where she could have put that, because this outfit does look very complete. But obviously, she's so good at this that like maybe there could have been something else that like
Maybe she would have won. Mm.
and maybe she would have won exactly. But that
Mhm.
being said, I think on a season where there is so much negativity throughout the entire cast, it is fun to have somebody who's like, yeah, I'm gonna help her. Of course, I'm gonna help her. Like, I like her. We're friends.
Mhm.
She's a good contrast from like the Plain Janes of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she just feels almost not like looking down on it, but above it all is sort of the feeling that I have. Just that she just like sort of can't be bothered with the drama. Like she'll be there, she'll observe it, but she's gonna help. She's gonna help comfort Plasma when she needs it. She's gonna help
Mhm.
Maya, and that's just I love queens like that, and I'm really taken with her, so I'm
Yeah.
very happy with her.
I
I
was
want her to
gonna
succeed.
I was gonna save it until we talked about Untucked, but I agree with you, Leona. I feel like she is just like she is there to win and leave. Like she she's not bothered with anything else. They were asking her, so how do you think you did, Sapphira? She's like, oh, the judges like my stuff. I think I did a good job.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yep.
Like she's not.
Yep.
That's it. You're not getting anything out of me. So
Yeah, she's
I
like, I'm in the top.
yeah.
Personality wise, she reminds me of Sasha Colby. Like I just get
Mhm.
that
a
like
little bit. Yeah.
there's that
Mhm.
level of like above it all.
Yep.
And not like
Yeah.
not being like an ego thing, just like quite literally being above it all.
She doesn't have the time.
Yeah, exactly.
These are
Just
the
like
mistresses.
unbothered.
Yeah.
Like such a consummate professional, unbothered by all the drama that's going on. Like let the children play. I am mother. That's
Yes.
that's the whole era I
Right.
get from her.
But Zach, I loved your comment about when they're walking down the runway and the judges start talking to them. I didn't realize at first that was like a real thing. I thought kind of they dub it in after, but it is amazing
Mhm.
that they can react and the judges are funny enough to just start talking and they're listening and they're reacting to it. I think it's so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The,
I always wondered that about like the puns that they do, because I doubt that any of them are actually, in real time.
Mhm.
So I guess I feel like the judges probably get pictures or a glimpse of the look ahead of time, so that way they can come up with jokes before.
Prepare. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, or there was I don't remember if this was like validated or rumor, but at some point in my history with Drag Race, I heard that they get written also for them.
Mm.
Now in the writer strike, I don't know if there's the crew is like being crowdsourced for some comments. But there's definitely some that feel like they're off the dome, and then there's some that
Yeah, that's
feel
true.
a
Yeah.
little bit canned, and you can kind of tell if I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I can sense the difference between the two. But
Mhm.
I agree. I
Mhm.
mean, I love the fact that the queens can respond. And we saw that a lot last week, just a little bit here with Saphira, but that's always you get reminded that it's not all a voiceover, that they are in the same room interacting, watching the queens walk the runway.
It's a live sport, baby.
Yep. Yeah. 2 more looks to get through. First, let's talk about Nymphia's. Now, I have already showered praise on this look. I'm very impressed with Nymphia. I think she's an absolutely amazing seamstress. I have the same critique about a little bit with the details, but overall, like I love that her inspo is just, I'm going to make a circle with feathers. And then she ended up creating this whole look, Steph, as a result of that.
She's like, I don't love her personality with the like the ditzy, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't dig that. And then she puts together this, like, it's insane. But first of all, aren't they supposed to be able to walk? Like, I didn't love that she couldn't walk. Like, she was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like on Project Runway, you have to be able to walk. So maybe you should have to walk here. But I mean, it's fantastic, but I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, I love this look. Oh my God. I'm really not trying to be she can do no wrong Nymphia stan. I'm really not trying to go into that territory, but she is taking me to that territory. The way, and I love that Carson had this particular critique. The way that she is able to manipulate texture is insane. I've never been the fashion guy ever. I know what looks cute on me. I see it, I buy it, I'll wear it. That's about it. But when I'm telling you that I actually want to like venture into fashion because of this bitch, it's just so good. Like the web with the spider in the middle, like all like I don't understand how she did that. And I see your point about it being utilitous and being able to walk and everything, Steph, but like
yes.
Girl, look, she was shuffling because she was in a spider web. Okay, that was the story, and I loved it. I loved everything, and it just in the fabric around the hips, back into the sheer of the.
And they don't show us any of this. Like they don't in the workroom. They showed us nothing except the circle of feathers.
I'm watching it like in real time right now, so I'm also like you're just getting a second helping, but it's just I don't know, like I kind of love the whole like archetype that she has right now, because I don't think we've really ever seen something like this where it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and then you come out on the rock on the runway looking like this, like so I love it. It makes me wonder just how much of her look she does do in person and how much of it she saves for when she goes back to that hotel room and like just stunts on these hoes. I love it. I can't take it.
So they're allowed to work all night in their rooms. Is that like what it is? Okay.
That's why they were asking Maya. They were like, "So, how much sleep did you get?" And Maya was like, "I slept great." I basically like knocked out the second I was in my room, and they were like, "Really?"
Yep. Well, and that was also the drama with Nymphia from the first challenge, was that she did most of her whole design in her room at night, so they didn't see it and were shocked when she came out because she was doing the whole like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and then showed up in her amazing look for the first design challenge. So yeah, I
feel like everything has been said about this look. Like it is amazing. So all talking said, I do appreciate the character of Nymphia and how much she grinds the gears of everyone around her. Because it's like, I feel like we've seen this kind of character a lot, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm the underdog. I'm underestimated. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But like, what show is this? And then like goes out and surprises everyone. Like, but I have never seen somebody get called out for that as much as Nymphia gets called out for it every single episode. And like it clearly like pisses the people off so much. And it would piss me off too if I was there in the room with her.
It's like a mind game that she thinks is still working. It's like, girl, they know you know what you're doing. They know you know what you're doing. Like, just.
But I want her to keep doing it. I want her to like go on All Stars and literally be sitting there and be,
Oh, I
I don't know why I'm on All Stars. I don't know what's going on.
But I don't get her, the banana, the whole yellow thing, like in the confessionals with her yellow sweatshirt and the yellow tank top, like she looks a mess. Like I just don't get it. And she's so fantastic on the show in these looks.
It's like Tina Burner, but without the red.
Yeah, without the red and the orange. I mean, like obviously we've seen queens like, you know, like Raja goes all in on purple, right? Like that's her color, but it's not as overt, I feel like, as Nymphia. You know, she even mentions in this episode, like, oh, I'm not feeling inspired. There's no yellow. So it's just seems to be so ingrained in everything about her drag.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Side note, I when I was at the restaurant earlier, see if I can get in, I could hear her like through the vestibule, and people were someone tipped her $100 bill, and she was like, "Oh my god, $100! Look, mom, it's working." I was like, "Wait, what?"
I love that no context without you like knowing what's going on.
She's definitely one of the most memorable people from the season. You know, maybe we'll get into it more at the end, but for me, she's one of like the locks to the end. Like I don't think we're losing her. I think we're gonna see her through.
Yeah, I think so too.
I wonder how she lip syncs. We haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
well, I'm sure she'll say she's terrible at it.
Yeah.
Our last look to talk about is Q, not Q fighting with Jelinski Q, but the Drag Race Q. Zach, what did you think about Q? She won this week. Did you agree with that decision?
Yeah, that's a Q does not stand for quit for either of them.
No, no smashing an hourglass today.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was in my mind the best look by far. From a perspective of like just being like truly unique, being something that like
Zachary, no.
From it, and unique has a Q in it, by the way, just so you know. That whatever it is, like the jacket / dress looks truly difficult to create in a way that like all of them are, but it's just very like unique. And I just really was impressed by this. And I love that we have someone like Q who is so good at something like the sewing and then so bad at the dancing, as we're going to see next week again. That's what I love about the season, is that nobody's perfect. Everybody, like, she can be amazing at this and terrible at something else.
Yeah.
It makes it a even race.
Yeah.
She should not have won.
Really?
I'm upset. It should have gone to Nymphia, hands down. I think when you think about goth for me, it's got to be dark. It has to be. Now, you know, you can have accents, which I think Sapphira's is more of an example, because I feel like Sapphira has a black dress with white.
Yeah.
Q has a white dress with black. And so I just felt like it just was not, it gives kind of like gothic wedding, which I guess, sure, fine, still gothic, but I would much rather give it to the person that has the gothic look and the color is like full scale down to the T. Also not what you would see from them on the regular. I just thought, yes, was it a good look? Was the craftsmanship there? Was the texture all there? Yes. Q is absolutely amazing. Should she have won? No.
But see, I don't agree with the idea that goth is pure black. I think goth is more an absence of color. And
I don't think it has to be black. I think it has to be dark. And I just feel like this was not dark enough.
When I think of, that's very fair for the outfit, and that is definitely the conventional goth, right? But when I think of goth, I think of just as much like the pale white face, like the contrast between the white and the black. And yes, this is absolutely more white, and I think that is like a very fair critique in terms of like the theming. But I don't think it takes away from what she actually created here, which I thought was the most impressive outfit of the night.
Fair.
Where do you guys land?
Yeah, I know, right? Steph, what do you think?
I mean, I don't love Q at all. I don't love the personality. But the outfit, I mean, this outfit.
He's gonna
Drag
block
her.
you.
Read
What?
her.
He's gonna block you.
Yeah, Q's been on a blocking people on Twitter rampage, including blocking Just Dance, which is so funny to me.
Wait. How do we know this? Did
Yeah,
Just
it was
Dance
on.
tweet?
I saw it on Reddit.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I think that Just Dance might have just been doing a meme there.
Yeah, it might have been photoshopped,
But she
yeah.
probably did block them after they posted that.
Yeah, exactly.
But look how fantastic this look is. I mean, the face, the hair. I love the hair.
The hair is amazing.
And then when she took off the jacket underneath, you know, the netting is all cut in such a special way. And I mean, she looks fantastic. I love the coat. I think it's amazing. I mean, I would put it in the same boat as Nymphia. I just Q's personality throughout the season, I don't love. But whatever.
What do you not love about it?
She's a little obnoxious. Like, I'm so awesome. Another win for me. You know, like,
Yeah.
I just don't love her.
One, like the times when she was like, "Oh, I should have gotten the win," that kind of stuff. The sort of like entitlement. Is that what you're sensing?
Yes. I
In
just
episode, it was like episode 3, I think, or episode 4, where she was like, "I'm just really sad because, yes, I've been in the top 3 times in a row, and I just feel like
it was a lot."
And this is where like literally like 10 of the other queens hadn't been in the top once.
She thought that was a safe space, and it was not. You should have kept that in the chamber.
Yeah.
I like that. I like flaws on TV. I like how Plain Jane was then just so rude to her after the fact. And then decides to be like, "No, I don't hate you. I don't hate you like I hate Amanda."
I love Plain Jane.
Yeah.
I love what they're adding.
Yes, it's definitely so much drama. Amon, just to show, so there she got blocked. So she got blocked by, I don't know why I can't zoom in. So this is, she blocked Tsunami is one.
Why? Tsunami?
This is what I saw, the Just Dance one.
No.
Where Just Dance, what did we do? Blocked you. And then Plain Jane replied, "You have dance in your name." Pretty self-explanatory. So that's part of that saga. In my opinion, when it comes to the look, when she first walked around the corner, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, wow, that's so good. I love that." Then as I looked at hers and Nymphia's more, I do think I side with Amon that I probably would have given the win to Nymphia, but I can understand why Q got the win here for what it was that she was able to create. So I'm not like super upset, but I do see both of your points of where you're coming from, because I think you can make an argument, honestly, either way for either one of them to win. The other thing that I did also see on Reddit that got pointed out was Q's Pantygate situation, aka the number of looks that Q has sort of had the same, like, again, not the same overall silhouette, because clearly, like, this is the look here in the middle is the one where she had all of the stilts and like that going on.
I mean, what are we doing here? Like, what
look, Zach, it's the same it's the repetition, right? And that's what, like, I want to see something different. Okay, so I'm just putting Q's on panty notice as far as I'm concerned.
I will be honest, I didn't catch that, so I'll keep it in mind for future episodes.
Yes, exactly. So please be aware of Pantygate going on.
Is it not? I mean, when I look at this though, these are how many is it? 7 completely different outfits we're looking at, which have that thing in common, but otherwise.
Yes. I'm just throwing it out there, just not making judgments either way.
Kind of like a bodysuit. Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, but to say that this outfit was just a bodysuit is like,
No, of course, yeah. All jokes aside, I mean, I think that Q has brought some of the best looks I think we've ever seen to the runway, and I think no one can take away what an amazing seamstress she is. Just
absolutely
just
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we've gotten through all the looks. Q ends up winning. For the lip sync, we have Plasma versus Maya. And I also saw some controversy about the lip sync song. So it was Bloody Mary, but specifically the TikTok Wednesday dance version. Zach, what do you think about the TikTok version being used?
I just think that, like, you know, society is so ruined, you know? Like, the fact that we have, like, a Nightcore song from TikTok being featured as, like, the deciding factor, it's so funny to me. In the same way that, like, on Big Brother, your fate can be determined by getting in a tutu and spinning around and then, like, you know, throwing coconuts at, like, a bunch of trees with players' names on it. The fact that your, like, Plasma's fate was literally decided by a TikTok sped up remix, like Nightcore version of a Lady Gaga song. It's so embarrassing, but it's reality TV.
Embarrassing for who?
Everybody. It's
Everyone,
embarrassing.
everybody involved.
And that's what you get when you sign up for a reality TV show. Like, everyone, you know what you're getting. It's RuPaul's Drag Race. They had a spitting mini take.
Yeah, the
this
mini-
episode.
yeah, we'll talk about that.
But it was so embarrassing. But they did good, especially Maya.
I loved
Yeah,
it.
Steph.
I loved
Oh, you loved it, Iman. Okay.
I loved it. You know, I was kind of upset about the fact that when this like went viral, because it went viral on TikTok because of what they do in Wednesday, the Netflix show. And it actually ended up charting, and Lady Gaga was like, "Oh my God, thank you guys for getting me to whatever the hell it was." And I was kind of like upset because I was like, the regular version is just fine. You get more the goth effect because you can actually hear what's going on in the song. But with that being said, am I going to be mad about Lady Gaga's song being on Drag Race? Hell no. So, that is one of the best. Bloody Mary is one of the best. It's top 5 Lady Gaga deep cuts. I'm telling y'all right now. So download it, stream it, do what you need to do. So yeah, I was pleased. I was a pleased customer.
Mom, what's your favorite Lady Gaga deep cut?
I don't know what you're talking about. What does that even mean? What's a deep cut?
A deep cut is like, it's like a lesser known song, a song that wasn't a single, a song that's like in the album that you would only know if you listen to the album.
You know, I don't know any songs. I'm not that.
What's your favorite Lady Gaga song, though? You know Lady
know.
Gaga songs.
Yes, but I don't know what my favorite is. I don't
just say
Bad
Bloody
Romance,
Mary TikTok
Poker
remix.
Face.
I mean, I like all. I like
Just Dance.
Shallow. Isn't Shallow one?
Shallow works. That works.
I like
That's a Lady Gaga song.
Don't embarrass me, Zach.
Okay, yeah. I was just says you in my room.
Well, what's yours, Zach?
She's
what's your
proud
favorite
of
Lady
you,
Gaga
Zach.
song?
Yeah, this is where the computer is.
My favorite Lady Gaga song. I really like Judas.
Judas is a bop. Judas is a bop, indeed.
Yeah. Okay, so let's not to sidetrack from Lady Gaga. We all love Lady Gaga.
Well, most of us do.
Yeah.
I think for me, for the lip sync song, I mean, obviously, like I get the decision because they've done this before where they have done whatever songs are like popular on TikTok, at least at the time of recording, like filming, then they'll do that.
They're always a little late, yeah.
Yeah, it's always a little bit behind because when they film and then get the episode comes out. Anyway, so it's a little bit awkward. So I was like, oh, okay, that I remember when this song was popular on TikTok. So that makes sense with the filming. I get the decision. I understand that. I think I was expecting maybe like a more goth, like actual sort of goth song. Like when I think of goth, I think of The Cure. That's like one of the first bands that pops into my head. So something like that. But obviously this is, you know, it's neo goth, I guess.
Or like a punk rock band.
There you go.
Yeah.
Romance.
Yeah, exactly. Something a little bit more not so mainstream for the gothness. But I mean, again, I get why they made that decision.
Right.
The lip sync. So, Steph, I see you reacting. Do you think that Maya deserved to go home? Do you think she did worse than Plasma?
No, I mean, I definitely think she was fantastic. I think she deserved to win. but I feel like track record matters. It matters to me. I mean, she has 0 wins, and Plasma had 2 fantastic wins. So I feel like it should matter a little bit. Like, I don't know, did she beat her that much? I mean, she was fantastic. I loved where she, gets down and kicks her feet, like, I don't know what the dance moves are called, but she had so many fantastic ones. I thought it was incredible. I didn't love when she went upside down and her dress and her legs were kicking in the air and I saw her tights. I don't know. I didn't love that part.
Well, we also had our first show. There was the callback to Sasha Velour with the rose petals. I think that was another moment that was fantastic from her. And then I think was it Safira Plain who said that it's the first wig reveal into a beanie. Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of funny. I was not expecting the beanie. I mean, I think it was just a black wig cap, but it did look like a beanie underneath.
At least she kept her shoes on this time, because I think in one of her lip syncs she took her shoes off, which I didn't like. So I thought that was good.
Yeah, I thought that she did beat her, like, clearly, like, decisively. Yeah. So did Monet Exchange with Jinx Monsoon. So you can obviously still, be sneaky with it as producers if they really wanted, or they could have done the ridiculous, but we've seen this before, that they did with like Jax and whoever, like there are ways that if they wanted to get Maya out, they could have. I think the reason that they chose to keep Maya in over Plasma is I think that Maya is the better story at this point. I think having survived 3 lip syncs, being the clear underdog, being the person where it's like, how the hell is she still here? Really adds intrigue going forward, especially on this cast, who are very clear of, I think that they have in their mind who the top 4 is, like, and every single person involves themselves, and it's just like differentiating, but nobody has Maya in their top 4.
No.
And I would love if Maya's able to like turn it around, if Maya's able to get a win, pick up some steam going forward, because I feel like, there's a real story there in a way that I think that Plasma didn't have as much of a unique like story on this season, other than just doing her thing and being great at it. But she wasn't as interesting to me as a TV character as Maya is, especially knowing how bitter all of these queens are going to be when she walks back into the workroom next week.
Yeah, again, I think that there was a world in which Plasma could have stayed, but I think Maya really, there was just no way around it. Like she killed it. Like there was no way around it. The death drip or drop that she did, not death drop, dip that she did was insane. Just like, I think that the Sasha Velour moment was maybe like just a touch too early. I feel like she should have waited until like at least the first chorus to do that. But she clearly, what I'm enjoying about Maya, even if she's not doing too well in the maxi challenges, is that when it comes to that lip sync, she is going to do her damnedest to give you a show, and she's going to fight. So do I think that Plasma should have gone home? Ooh, no. I think that Plasma should still be here. But do I understand why Maya won that lip sync? Yes, the hell I do. It was a great performance. It really was.
I think at the end of the day, it's a combination of the fact that Plasma's outfit, when I look them all side by side, like let's just set the Maya getting help aside for a second. I look at all of the looks side by side. Plasma's is the one that immediately stands out to me for all of the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I think that it was just by comparison so bad that with then her losing the lip sync, I just feel like that was ultimately the correct decision. But I do understand if you factor in track record, then it gets.
And how do they explain that? How would they explain that to the public? Like,
well,
she lost both things, but she's still here.
I brought it up earlier, but like the Monet Exchange, Jinx Monsoon, like I was rooting for Jinx that whole season, but I've never seen a more like horrendously
That-
edited lip sync
yeah,
to
that was bad.
like
Yeah.
just force the ending that they wanted, and that was their fault for choosing swish swish. Like they screwed
I
up.
know.
Should have, yeah, it
You
should
do the
have
winner
been. I
takes
don't.
it all.
I don't know
Jinx
why
can
they
do
did
that.
that. I
And
don't
then,
know why to this day.
Yeah, and then it was like I forget who Kerry Colby was up against. It was like Alyssa Hunter. Like we've seen
I think
time and
so.
again, right? Like in season 14,
Hmm.
we've seen
Mhm.
the production kind of like dip their fingers into whatever results they wanted. I think Plasma did unfortunately get screwed by the fact that there were 3 sewing challenges within 9 episodes. I feel like the advice that I'd heard by someone from Drag Race contestants is like learn one thing to sew. Because if you learn like
Mhm.
one thing that you can sew really well and really consistently, that'll put you through. But then when it's the 3rd time and she was confronted with making that same outfit a 3rd time in a row, I think she would have been in the bottom regardless. It probably would have looked better, but I don't think she was going to make it out with the same outfit again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's always really tough.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, to go back to the Jinx moment, like the benefit that the editors and that production had with that is that they had the like awkward voiceover where it was like, and your entire track record will be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
Like because of force that in just to be like, so she's gonna lose, but we're going on the track record. Whereas here at this moment, like that would have been probably really awkward to try to include that bit. So I
Yeah.
think that's why we ended up with Plasma unfortunately being eliminated. Okay. Now,
Did we talk about who we think is going to be in the top 4? Is that something we can talk about? Because
yeah,
course.
absolutely.
I clearly know 5. I mean, I know
I know
imagining-
5 of the people who are going to be in the top 4.
Exactly. I know Morphine is going, and I know Maya, in my opinion. But I don't know who
Probably.
the
Are
other
leaving. You're
Yeah,
saying that would
leaving.
not
Are
be in
leaving.
the okay.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
agree
I
with
don't know
that.
who the other one is though.
I'm less confident because Plasma went home this past week, so I'm kind of like, maybe
I
it
would not
could
have
be.
put Plasma in my top 4 personal. I would have assumed she was going to be going before.
I
as
don't know
well.
if I would have
think
put her in the top 4, but I definitely would not have pegged her leaving when she did. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do now. But I think the ones that my gut is like set on are Nymphia, Saphira, Plain Jane. I know for a fact that those ones will be there. I just do not know who the 4th will be. I don't know
And
if
I
it'll be
think-
Dawn. I don't know if it'll be Q.
I think it'll be Dawn. I think that Q is the one with like her storyline of these expectations she sets on herself and how like she can necessarily not always be a great loser, and
Yeah.
it almost feels Q reminds me a lot of a Detox in that way, where she's clearly like very professional, very great, and like has her like true skill set, but just doesn't like I could see her as that like fallen angel like right before the finale. She finally gets put in, or was she in a lip sync already?
Yes.
Okay, she
when
puts
she was in the
Spitz-
bottom 2.
Yeah, she's put in another lip
Early.
sync and just can't make it and gets cut like right at the end. That's what I see as Q. And then I see a Nymphia, Saphira, Dawn, and Plain
Plain Jane.
Jane. Final 4.
Well, and next week is like a girl group or something, isn't it? So maybe next
think
week
so,
is
yeah.
her week.
Yeah, it's like they're going to be performing to the song Power. Rue described it as an anthem. So at least dancing, performing for sure. I don't know if they're going to have to then record their own verse. Those typically go together.
Probably,
So we could see something like that. And I don't know if they're going to be split up into groups of I guess
I
3 and
assume this is
4,
like a
or if they're all
one
gonna be
big
together.
song at this point with 7 people left.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case. Yeah, I agree. I think Saphira, Nymphia, and Plain Jane for me. I mean, especially Nymphia, like because production was willing to save her for Snatch Game. I think those 3 for sure. And then I see the logic, Zach, of Q being the one that goes, and Dawn is the one that then ends up sneaking into the top 4. And also Dawn we've seen her excel in some of the other challenge types as well, in the way that Q maybe has not. So like I think that she did really well in the girl group challenge. That's somewhere that Q struggled. So I do think that Dawn, to me, makes the most sense as the other one in that top 4.
Yeah. Maybe she gets her, I was gonna say maybe she gets her like final win like in the challenge right before. Like they love having that one person
Yes.
who's like, you know.
Yeah.
Finally gets a win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then
She's been changing her her handle. Still not a win. She keeps
Oh,
changing.
yeah.
yeah, on Twitter, it's really
Yeah.
funny. It's like Dawn still no wins or something like that.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, what else do we have from this episode to talk about? We have a mini challenge, the spit take challenge. Aman, what do you think about this mini challenge here?
I liked it for the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it got old real fast.
Mhm.
I do think that the jokes that RuPaul was spitting out, pun intended, were cool and great and funny. But other than that, I was like, okay, like, so what is so Ru makes you laugh so that you can make Ru laugh, and that, like, what's the rubric here? Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought the worst one was Saphira. That was a weird spit, but everyone else was fine.
Yeah, she
Did you
vomited.
see Saphira? Yeah, it was
Yeah, Saphira had a lot of water.
There was
Yeah, it's
no
somehow, like-
splatter, it was just liquid.
Yeah, exactly. I almost thought at first she like threw the glass at the same time, like the volume of water that she managed to
Yeah.
eject from her mouth. I thought that was funny. I did write down, a few of the lines that I thought were really great, which I thought the best part of the mini challenge was Ru's jokes, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So for Q got the winner of Miss Congeniality is Plain Jane. That was so funny, especially to do it for Q. And then for Nymphia this week, we're redoing the Snatch game. I thought that was also really great. I love that they were tailored to the queen specifically. And then the one for Morphine was just a funny read. Like, we got your IQ test results back and you're pregnant. That feels like a really challenge. So RuPaul was just practicing for that.
Yeah, I thought it reminded me of one of those challenges where they have to spit and also pose and take a photo, and like whoever gets the best photo, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Also, why did Maya start doing the worm?
Great
Was that a
question.
different episode or?
No, that was this one. That was this one.
Yeah, why? What was going on there?
I don't know. She didn't have boobs on, so
Yeah.
she was
So,
safe.
I
My
smiled and waved.
My hot take, I think, is that I think it would be, for a show that's so ridiculous and funny, I think it would be really funny if they made like the mini challenge, like they would make that part of the judging critiques at a certain point. And
Yes.
like that would, for me, that would be so great if they were like, look, Maya, your outfit really was well made, but your spit take.
It was gross.
Or
So
they were
bad.
like, I'm sorry,
But your
Saphira,
spit
for your
didn't quite take.
your spit didn't
Yes. That's so good. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's some queens who would absolutely love that. Tsunami, for example, she got her 2 mini challenge wins. Lucy
Right.
LaDuca Classic winning all of her little mini challenges. So I'm sure that would benefit
In
some queens. For
Saphira,
sure.
in the sewing challenge, you swam, but in the spit take, you couldn't hold water. Sorry, my dear.
Higher,
I love that.
Zach. Yes.
That's how. Yeah, that's how you really break RuPaul's Drag Race fans. Is if it only matters when the judges want it to matter.
Right.
I know. Like, they need more like ways to do their whole production
Yeah.
nonsense anyway.
Uh-huh.
Throw the mini challenge in there. Easy. Okay. Is there anything else, Steph or Zach or Mon, that you'd like to mention about this episode, drag in general, as we start to wrap things up?
I mean, for me, I think that this season is definitely shaping up to be one of my favorites. I don't know how much of it is because of the juxtaposition of just the predictability of season 15, but I'm having a lot of fun. I do love the topsy-turviness of it all. Again, do I think that Plasma deserves to like be gone this early? No, but did she also lose the lip sync? Yes. So it's kind of like, it's like this season feels like such a big give and take, and so I'm like kind of like here for the ride of just, expecting the unexpected, I guess. So
Yeah, I have a question for you guys, which is I have really not been following the social media at all this season. Mostly because I've been watching these episodes like so off and I just don't want to get spoiled. So I like muted the hashtag and all that. What is like because I've heard there's been like some drama that's been going on social media. Like, what specifically has been happening? Like with the react, I was like Plain Jane. I know was like fighting. Like, what is it?
Of course.
Is it a big happy
Yeah.
family? Like, are they just kind of like messing with each other, or is this like real?
Plain Jane has gotten into her and Amanda are still fighting. I know that much.
Yes.
Plain Jane also had a lot of critiques about Amanda Tory meetings padding, and henceforth Amanda has reached out to the person that does Plain Jane's padding, and they denied her. So there's clearly still bad blood between the two of them. Plain Jane also got into it with Bob the drag queen, because Bob did not feel like the burger finger thing was actually comedy. He felt like everyone's just being on this show being ridiculous, and that's how you win nowadays. And Plain Jane took offense to that and was like, girl, like, so
I'm 100%. I'm 100% with Bob on that one.
So am
You
I.
didn't like burger
So am
fingers?
Yeah, I did not get that.
I don't understand what burger finger is, but it's fine. It's fine. But as far as social media battles, I think Maya just got into it with Trisha Paytas because Trisha,
Really?
yes.
Oh my!
Trisha
Can you
was
explain
like,
to my mom real quick who Trisha Paytas is? Just because
Yeah.
that is.
Okay, who is it?
I don't even know where to begin.
So she's like, I would say,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she was
yeah.
sort of one of the, I don't know, like OG sort of YouTube stars, I would say. She's someone who's
Mhm.
been like a drama fiend out and around in these Twitter streets, like constantly sort of causing or somehow being involved in drama. She's had a lot of scandals, I would say, in the past.
Mhm.
She's
Okay.
sort of infamous in the like social media mogul world. I would
She's
She's
known
say.
famous
for
for being a mess. I think is like the best, like the
Yes.
best way to say it. She's just
With what show? Specifically with TV shows?
no shows. She's
Oh.
literally
Oh.
just she's a YouTuber. She rose to fame when it was like, when there were few famous YouTubers, that's when she reached her peak.
Yes.
And now since then
Okay.
she sort of just like
Well, but-
remains in the popular conversation.
You say no shows, and yet she's somehow been on every single show ever.
She was on
She's-
Big Brother UK. I forgot about
She
that.
was on Big Brother UK. She was on America's Got Talent.
Okay.
She's famous. I know her from, she identified as a chicken nugget at one point.
Yeah.
One of her controversies. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
You've probably seen her using a lot of like gifs and memes on Twitter stuff. Like it's
Okay.
you've if you search her, if you like Google her right now, you'd be like, oh, I've seen her before.
Okay.
Okay, so with that backstory, how did
Here's
she get-
yeah, this is her. So this is her. This is Trisha
Mhm.
Paytas.
And so
Wow.
Mom, when her daughter was born the same day that Queen Elizabeth died.
Okay.
So people say that Queen Elizabeth, for her crimes,
Yes.
was reincarnated.
Reincarnated.
As Trisha Paytas's baby.
Yes.
Okay.
And she
In any
announced she was
case-
pregnant. She announced she was pregnant again, and that was the day that King Charles said that he was like sick.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
in some strange reality, I wonder if it's true. Anyway, with that being said, she also was of the opinion that Maya should have gone home. She was like, I don't think that flips and dips should, win you, safety or whatever the hell. And Maya clapped back at her, basically saying like, well, I didn't flip last week when I was in the bottom and I still stayed. Y'all are just mad just to be mad. So like kiss my ass, essentially. So the two of them are going back and forth.
That's awesome.
But
Okay.
other than that, I
Mhm.
think that's everything that I can think of right now. Yeah.
Mom, I just remembered. I think Sugar played Trisha Paytas in Snatch Game last season.
Okay, I remember. I just didn't know who she was. I didn't know who that was. Yeah.
I will say that with all of that in mind, I think that there were two queens from last season that have been really influential in this one, which is Mistress. I think showing like how much love she received for being so shady, being so
Mhm.
like such a big character, so funny. I think that a lot of queens went into that. She kind of like opened the door, the doors that Mistress has opened.
Yeah.
Like
To end the RuPaul's Best Friends Race era. Yeah.
yeah, and now
Mhm.
people are like, oh wait, like people want a villain. People want someone who's kind of nasty and shady and all that. So I've loved that. And then I also think Lux from last season has really shown like if you tailor your drag race experience not just to like what your package is, but if you're tailoring it specifically to RuPaul and to the
Mhm.
producers, like that will go a long way.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hi, Molly.
No, but
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that it's been almost refreshing. Is feels like a weird way to describe it. To be like thankful for drama because I enjoy that, and I think the Untucks, honestly, with the exception of this week, I feel like this week's Untucked. I mean, it was fine, but compared to some of the previous weeks with some of the fights that we've seen or disagreements, I think that has been very enjoyable, and I've really been just in my little goblin drama hole, just living for all of it. Okay. I think we've talked through everything. This has been amazing. Thank you both so much for coming on as guests. This was a pleasure. We got to name our top 4. We're going into the final stretch of the season, and we'll have to just see how it plays out. Zach, is there anything that you want to mention? Any plugs at the
No, you
end
can
of the
follow.
pod?
You can follow me, wherever at Zach Wirt. I've been enjoying the season. It was so fun to do podcast with my mom. That was a very unique experience. I never thought would happen. Yeah, I wonder if Dawn's gonna watch this because I know she's a
I'm gonna
American.
say she follows me. She follows me on Twitter.
Oh,
So
okay.
If you're wondering why my mom's a big Dawn fan,
no, she's a big AmeriCorey stan, especially America. She loves. But I will
I
tag
love
her.
that. When Drag Race and Big Brother crosses over, it is like the best thing for me. I love that.
yeah,
I know,
Yeah.
same. Okay, and apart from being followed by Dawn, Steph, is there anything else that you want to plug or talk about?
No, I don't have anything. I just watch all the shows. So I should call Brian and Allie because I watch the challenge. I could be on their podcast too.
There you go.
Yes.
your debut.
You can follow Steph on Twitter at Steph Wort. Amon, anything?
Sorry, and 90 Day Fiance with Booyah. I follow that too.
Okay. I'll ask him. He's always in the business for guests. All right, Amon, what about you?
You can follow me everywhere at Amon Adwin. Just here for Drag Race for now. We'll be kicking it up for Big Brother Canada 12. I'll be on the draft for that this upcoming Monday. But other than that, yeah, that's it.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP. Survivor season is in full force. So Mike and I are doing the B&B. We're back. We already did our preseason coverage, and we're doing episode 1 with Izzy from Big Brother is actually going to be our first guest. So we're recording that tomorrow.
Oh my God, what a get.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that. And then for Masked Singer, we're also, Puya and I are going to be covering Masked Singer. So that'll be back this week, and we'll be releasing episode 1 coverage at the end of this coming week. So thank you all for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this. It was absolutely wonderful for all of us. If you did enjoy, leave your star ratings and reviews for us. robhasawebsite.com/drag race. Thank you to the whole RHAP team for all of their help behind the scenes, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.